From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Thursday, December 31st, right now on Good Morning Indiana.
I want to stress that we are moving in a very intentional order of eligibility for vaccine.
Coronavirus vaccines are being distributed throughout the state, while children aren't able to get the COVID vaccine quite yet.
These people are getting a running start on their New Year's resolutions. This morning, why doctors say fitness could help you fight the virus.
I wanted to be able to learn something a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more specialized.
Plus, finding a new path to a new career, the training program paying you to get into a successful field.
We are clearing the path for a new year. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana. On this New Year's Eve, we are dressed and ready to greet 2021. Good morning to my teammates in Studio A.
Oh, looking good, Raphael. Oh, yeah. Guys, this is our last hour of Good Morning Indiana for 2020. Good riddance, you know. Let's move on to the new year.
I'm ready for it, and I know that we're definitely going to have a little bit of a colder new year, right, Todd?
Yeah, you know, it's going to come in with a storm system. Probably not what we want for New Year's Day, but at least for New Year's Eve, a lot of people out celebrating. If you do have any plans today, you're going to have to bundle up, but we're not going to be dealing with any precipitation in the forecast, at least on this Thursday. Radar is quiet after a very active day yesterday with the rain, and we transitioned to that snow yesterday evening. That is now down to our south, so we don't have to worry about precipitation in the forecast today, but eventually after midnight, storm system will approach from the west. We're below freezing, though, this morning. Definitely some slick spots on the roadways from the rain and snow yesterday, and these temperatures 25 in Indy, 26 in Bloomington. And temperatures today really won't do a whole lot. So while it's not going to be the brightest New Year's Eve for us, it's going to be dry. That is the good news. Temperatures in the 20s here through 11 a.m. And then eventually we climb up into the low 30s. Not a whole lot of warming will take place. We'll talk about that storm system. A winter weather advisory goes into effect overnight tonight for your New Year's Day. We'll break it down for you in more detail, Lauren, coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic over here on the northeast side. This is I-465 near Pendleton Pike. Everything here is traveling smoothly, as you can see on the interstate. Overall, the interstates are pretty clear from that ice or a little bit of snow that you may have in your neighborhood, so that is good news. They've been out pre-treating the streets. Just got word of a crash I want to mention to you. This is over on the northwest side, southbound I-465, so it's sort of across town from this view here. We do have right lanes blocked for a crash near 38th Street. Stay to the left and use caution.
Thanks, Lauren. Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and its impact on Indiana. This morning, state health officials report more than 4,800 new coronavirus cases. That's an increase of more than 100 cases compared to Tuesday. Health officials also report 109 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. Now, we do want to point out those deaths happened between September 29th and Tuesday. Since March, more than 7,800 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. Raphael?
Good morning to Lebanon, Kokomo, and Anderson. An additional 110,000 Hoosiers are expected to receive the coronavirus vaccines by next Monday. But the big question this morning is, when will children be able to get the vaccination? As of this morning, the vaccines are not approved for young children. The Pfizer version is authorized for people 16 and older. The Moderna vaccine is for people 18 and older. Dr. John Christensen with Riley Hospital for Children says the biggest challenge is the initial vaccine trials only included adults.
Eventually, studies will be continued in regard to children, initially started in adolescents and eventually in younger children. And then perhaps in several months from now, we will have indications where we can give it to young children. But right now, I think it's going to be months before we see the routine vaccination of young children.
As he mentioned, only recently did clinical trials with young children begin for both vaccines. Lauren?
And Raphael, this morning, the State Department of Health is giving us a closer look at the numbers of Hoosiers who are receiving the vaccines. Nearly 46,000 Hoosiers received their first dose of a vaccine this week. That's according to the Health Department's newly released vaccine dashboard. Since the first vaccines were administered back on December 14th, nearly 76,000 Hoosiers have received their first doses of the vaccine.
New overnight, a man is dead following a shooting on the city's north side. It happened around 1 this morning near East 39th Street and Baltimore Avenue. That's a few blocks east of Indiana State Fairgrounds. Metro Police say they arrived to find the man with a gunshot wound. He died at the scene. If you have any information on what happened overnight, please call the Crime Stoppers phone number. And just hours earlier, a man died following a shooting near East 25th and Sherman. Officers found the victim around 8 o'clock Wednesday evening. These latest deadly shootings come as a record-breaking year for homicides in Indianapolis winds down. Detectives are looking for any possible witnesses in this case. So far this year, Metro Police detectives have investigated at least 243 homicide cases.
The time right now is 6:07 on your Thursday. A homeowner over on the west side of Indianapolis here wants to know if anyone can help him with this mess near his property. Malcolm Capps lives on Westbrook Avenue, and he's frustrated with the trash that is washing down a creek, stopping near his home. Capps says he's called the city dozens of times over the course of several years.
They usually tell me it's somebody else's job, and I think it's either mayor's hotline or somebody should know who the job it is. And this side, it is bad too, but when this is cleaned out, it don't never flood. Well, they told me on that side, it's the railroad's responsibility.
So working for you, WRTV reached out to the city about this issue. They say a project is in the works that could ease Cap's concerns, but that project is not in the design process yet. The city says drainage issues are usually the responsibility of the property owner, but the project could help Cap's out. We'll keep you updated.
Well, we are less than 24 hours away from the beginning of the new year. You see that countdown right there at the bottom of your screen. And this morning, as the new year inches closer, the new year, new me mentality is in full swing. Our Kelsey Anderson is live in Fishers this morning as dozens of Hoosiers are getting a head start on their 2021 fitness goals. Good morning, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So a lot of us, we start out the new year with those new goals. So Megan, do you have any new goals as 2021 begins?
Oh yeah, just getting out there and exploring Indiana, maybe seeing those state parks and checking them off the list. How about you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Those are beautiful. And I'm going to hopefully run a marathon in April as long as everything goes as planned for me. So we'll see about that. But again, as we get into the 2021 year, thank you. I'm trying. So as we get into 2021, experts say that health and fitness, they need to be at the top of our 2021 New Year's resolution list, especially as we are still in the midst of this pandemic. So you can see behind me, people here at Orange Theory Fitness, they're already getting that head start on their workout this morning. And we're all trying to stay healthy this year amid the pandemic, and working out and eating a balanced diet are going to help all of us fight off any virus we may get. Now, obviously, there is no one magic thing that can prevent us from getting COVID or beating it with ease. But Dr. Jennifer Hartwell says that there are things that you can do to help our body recover and work through an illness a little bit better. She says things like vitamin C, zinc, magnesium, and calcium are all things we should be trying to have in our everyday diet.
We know that all of those antioxidants, like those vitamins, particularly vitamin C, are really good for our immune system. And those come naturally in our citrus fruits, in our dark green leafy vegetables. So those things that we think of that are fruits and vegetables, salads, those things are the best for us when it comes to those micronutrients and vitamins that help us boost our immune system.
Now, she says just 10 minutes outside a day will give you plenty of vitamin D, and moving your body, whether it be at a gym, at your house, or just taking the dog for a walk around the block, will also boost your immune system. So coming up in the next half hour, you're going to hear from a woman who has cystic fibrosis, but she's still making fitness a priority. Plus, she'll tell us why she feels her gym is doing everything they can to keep her and other members safe from COVID-19. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Hiring Hoosiers helps you to find a path to a new career. Coming up, I'll introduce you to a training program paying you to get into a successful field. Todd.
And Lauren, all is quiet right now across central Indiana, and this New Year's Eve is going to be a quiet day from start to finish. That's the good news. And your New Year's Day, though, a different story. Tomorrow morning, freezing rain makes its way into the area, and as a result, the National Weather Service already issuing winter weather advisories for most of the area. We'll break it down down for you in full detail coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Let's go places.
Hoosiers initiative, as you know, works to connect you every single day to job opportunities and training programs to better your career.
That's right, Raphael. And right now, there's a huge opportunity for you to make a career pivot thanks to the Peterman Top Tech Academy.
Yeah, and so I learned how this training program provides a path to a successful career in an in-demand field.
I just wanted a different opportunity.
Carrie Clendenning was looking for a change.
I wanted to be able to learn something a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more specialized.
After working on semis in a manufacturing plant for 18 years, she jumped at the opportunity to get skills training with Peterman Top Tech Academy.
And I wanted to find a way that I could serve people and customers.
The Top Tech Academy is a training program to bring awareness to the trades, and it trains people with the potential to work in these fields. Chad Peterman is the president.
I think oftentimes being a plumber or being an HVAC technician could be looked at as just a job or something like that. And I think it's really important to understand that it can definitely be a career and run one that's really rewarding.
The 4-month program teaches participants the skills they need to work on HVAC and plumbing systems, work that is essential no matter the pandemic or the economy.
The need is very great, and I would say the need is to find really great people.
People like Clendenning, who started the program in October, will be graduating in the new year.
Oh, I feel great. This place has built a really good atmosphere to practice new skills and master those skills, so I feel like once I graduate and head on out to the field, I'm confident. I feel good about it.
The training includes classwork on the curriculum, labs in small groups, and field work alongside Peterman employees.
We'll learn stuff practically, like in the classroom, and then we'll come out hands-on in the lab and we'll tear things apart and put it back together.
We've adapted as best we can.
Class sizes are smaller, and they've made changes in light of this pandemic.
I think that the important thing is we're getting the training in that we need to get in. Hopefully at some point in time we can get back to something of what we originally planned for.
If you have a little bit of interest, get into it. And if you get into this class, just absorb everything, soak it all in.
And the best part, not only is this hands-on training free, but you get paid along the way as a Peterman employee, even while you're in their Top Tech Academy.
It has changed my life, and in the future, going through training like this, once I step out into the field, I'm going to have confidence that I can do my job.
When you have a skill, you feel empowered, and empowering people is the key, I think, to growing a business. To me, when you arm somebody with a skill set, there's really nothing that can stop them.
Well, we can tell you they are already looking for their next class of participants in the Top Tech Academy. The past course brought in more than 600 applications with 16 people in the class, so it is pretty competitive. They already have hundreds of applications for this next course. They're going to start making offers in January, so they want you to know the time to apply is right now. For more information, just click on this story at hiringhoosiers.com. The time right now is 6:17. It is New Year's Eve. People are maybe making plans, Todd, to head out or maybe stay in. But what do they need to know today?
Yeah, today's a pretty quiet day of weather for us, Lauren. That's the good news. The only real issue is here this morning. There's some slick spots out there. Sidewalks, driveways, front steps, back steps, and secondary streets. We are dealing with icy conditions left over from yesterday with the refreeze. No additional precipitation today. That's the good news. But freezing rain moves in overnight. Tomorrow morning, it's a completely different story, as the freezing rain will probably be starting right around now. So be very, very careful. You don't want to start tomorrow, the new year, with a slip and fall or a car accident, and then a flooding potential arrives tomorrow as well as we start to bring in some heavier rainfall. This morning you can see a little bit of snow there still in Greencastle, and the crunch and shine on the streets there with the ice. Temperatures are in the 20s, and we're going to stay in the 20s here through a good chunk of the day today. It's not until later on this afternoon that eventually we only climb up into the low 30s. 22 in Richmond, 25 right now in Greencastle. Here are those highs, not going up a whole lot with mostly cloudy skies. We'll have that northwesterly wind that prevents us from warming. 36 today in Bloomington and Columbus, 33 the high temperature today in Indy. Let's look ahead because that's when all the issues arise, and obviously with New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, a lot of people doing things across central Indiana. The clouds are in place. Here's yesterday's rain and snow down to the south. Here's our next storm system that's going to start to lift to the north as we head into the overnight hours. If you are going out to dinner tonight, with some friends or family or loved ones, you're just fine. You'll just have to bundle up a little bit as we ring in the new year. Temperature right around 29 degrees. Tomorrow morning, though, with a freezing rain will overspread the area. There's also the potential for flooding throughout the course of the day. The ground obviously very saturated from the rain yesterday, and we're probably going to see another ½ inch to an inch of rain. Here's the issue tomorrow morning. I would say between 5:30 and about 9:30 in the morning, we deal with this freezing rain, especially in northern locations. South of Indy, you should go over to just plain old rain fairly quickly throughout the morning hours as this storm system will bring in much warmer air. But look at the heavy rainfall. Yesterday's rain was kind of light and steady throughout the entire day. Tomorrow we get into some heavy rainfall, and there could be some decent icing here to the north. And then once we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow, it's not that steady, heavy rain. We're still dealing with some scattered showers off and on throughout the day. So honestly, New Year's Day is not a very pleasant day for us. Temperatures in the morning hovering right around that freezing mark, and when with this freezing rain, a degree or two makes a huge difference. If you're starting your day down in, say, Bloomington, you're probably not going to have too much of an issue. As you drive north, coming back towards Indianapolis or points to the north, temperature drops a degree or two, you run into the freezing rain, it can become slick. So definitely tomorrow morning is a morning you have to pay attention to the weather. Eventually, though, temperatures get up into the 40s and maybe even 50s during the afternoon hours. Winter weather advisory will go into effect tomorrow morning through about 10, 11 o'clock, depending on which counties you live in. So just use caution tomorrow morning. Eventually by the afternoon, it's just plain old rain, and then a pretty quiet stretch of weather as we work our way into next week. Just a little chance of a wintry mix, Lauren, as we get into Sunday morning.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look at that traffic alert we mentioned earlier over on the northwest side of town. This is our INDOT traffic camera here at I-465 near West 46th Street. This is impacting southbound traffic in the right lane, right shoulder there. As you can see, we just have a crash in that area. Traffic is still getting by just fine in the left and center lanes, so it shouldn't slow you down too much for your commute. Just use caution as you're heading out on the roads, especially watch out for any salt trucks or plowed trucks that are still out there checking on the roads. Megan?
Thanks, Lauren. It's one of the hardest finds this year. Up next, we're helping you find the new PlayStation 5 so you don't waste your money.
It started as TikTok videos and now has become a full-blown New Year's Day musical coming up on GMA right here on WRTV. How Ratatouille the musical is raising money for the Actors Fund in a really fun and entertaining way. As we head outside, let's take a look at those amazing zoo lights. They have more bling than one of my jackets, which is the way it should be. These are amazing lights there at the zoo. A big good morning today to Fishers, Frankfort, and Franklin, all great places to call home. What a sight there on the west end of Indianapolis. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
Keller and Keller.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:24. Megan Raphael. This is the time where we chat about what is trending at 6. And we know kids, they've been so resilient during this pandemic.
Yes.
A lot of them are getting really creative. And here's an Alaska teen. She started a crusade aimed at getting kids moving during the pandemic. 13-year-old Rebecca Tyler says that many days of indoor isolation are really getting to her. So she decided to get moving and then decided to start a movement called Big Air Becca.
Cute.
Becca believes that exercise is critical for mental health, and she hopes that this site will inspire other kids. So far she's raised about $1,000 for the cause through donation and merch sales.
Right.
So way
Look
to
at
go,
her.
Becca. A little entrepreneur.
Making the most of it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, a magical drone display in the sky over Edinburgh, Scotland. Take a look at the screen.
Wow.
You can see drones taking off and forming various shapes, including a luminous flying stag. The pilots used advanced artificial intelligence software to choreograph the flights, you guys. And the show, which can be seen online, was part of a festival, of course, celebrating the new year. Way to use technology in that one.
I still don't get how they do that, but it's pretty, pretty incredible.
I'll watch it all day, though.
We We need the WRTV drones to spell out Good Morning Indiana.
Yes. Right, we'll have to buy a few more.
We'll borrow your credit card, Lauren. Thank you for offering.
You're welcome.
And we end this segment with some goodwill and act beyond and above the call of duty. Police officer Matthew Lima, out on a shoplifting call in Somerset, Massachusetts, he realized that two women with their children had only scanned a few items at the self-checkout, but bagged the rest, all of them, grocery items. Now, after questioning them, the women told him it was all out of necessity. That's when he issued the women a trespassing notice, but decided not to file charges. And then here's where the goodwill comes in. He quickly purchased gift cards so that the women could go to another store and buy everything that they would need for a holiday dinner. We thank that officer for his act of goodwill. Todd Clausen, on this Thursday, watch your step. It could be slippery out there on this New Year's Eve.
Yeah, you know, we had that rain yesterday, a lot of it across central Indiana, Raphael, as you well know, and then we had the transition to snow, and then the temperatures dropped real quick, and that led to some slick spots with refreezing all across the area. There's nothing, as you see on radar on the center of your screen, falling from the sky as far as precipitation goes. So everything that is out there, the damage is done. So as you walk out that door, as Raphael mentioned, watch out for your front steps. Your sidewalk could definitely be a little bit icy. Temperatures stay in the 20s for a good chunk of the morning. Eventually this afternoon, we're looking at a high temperature of 33 degrees, but the entirety of the day today will be dry. You don't have to worry about any precipitation until about this time tomorrow. But once that arrives, Lauren, it is going to be in the form of freezing rain, which could lead to big issues here on New Year's Day. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. So this year's Tickle Me Elmo, Cabbage Patch Doll, and Furby is a new gaming system. Kids are getting a little bit more expensive, right? So Sony's PS5 and Microsoft's Xbox X are the gift that is impossible to find in the year 2020. But working for you, our John Matarese has some secrets to track one down so you don't waste your money.
So here we are at Christmas and you still haven't found the new Xbox or PlayStation? Well, it may be too late to put one under the tree, but you could find one in the next couple of weeks if you know how to track them. Jairus Williams thought he had found a PS5.
So we're happy, excited, and then the next morning they canceled on us.
Kohl's canceled his order. Stephanie Meebers found one at Walmart.com, but when she tried to check out,
tried to hit add to cart. Well, then you get the oh dear message, you know, that little dog with the antlers. Started getting, we're having temporary internet issues, and all of a sudden it said out of stock.
But the good news is you can now track availability of the PS5 and Xbox Series S. You may want to start by following two Twitter accounts, PS5 Stock Alerts and GYX Deals. Also, follow the website stockinformer.com. USA Today suggests you then bookmark the Xbox and PS5 pages at Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, and Target, and check several times every day. But from the doesn't that stink file, the insane prices eBay sellers continue to command. Prices start around $700 on eBay, but most sell for over $1,000, with buy it now prices at $1,500 or more, and that stinks. Finally, don't expect stores to be flooded with PlayStations and Xboxes come January. Supplies are expected to remain tight until March. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana, on this Thursday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. A man is dead after a shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Officers say they found the victim around 8 o'clock last night near East 25th and Sherman, just north of Mass Ave. Detectives are still looking for any possible witness in the case.
A 29-year-old man from Martinsville is dead after a grain bin collapse in rural Morgan County. The sheriff's office says this happened Wednesday morning near Man Road, just south of Southwest Park. Investigators say that Stephen Crocker was loading corn into his pickup truck when that bin collapsed. The cause of the collapse this morning is still under investigation.
And Donnie Walsh has had many roles with the Indiana Pacers over the years, and now just shy of his 80th birthday, Walsh is stepping down as the front office consultant for the team. Walsh is best known for his tenure as general manager. That's when he made the controversial decision back in 1987, drafting Reggie Miller instead of Hoosier favorite Steve Alford. Miller, of course, became a Hall of Famer and one of the team's greatest players. And here at 6:31, we are kicking off your last morning of 2020. And Megan, I think in 2021, we are going to have to do a little shopping. So we're not upstaged by our co-anchor.
We got to catch up to Raphael's level. Man, oh man, look at the new outfit, Raphael. Where did you get that one?
It is it is New Year's Eve in Central Indiana. Won't tell my secrets. All on sale, though. We have to celebrate what? We have to celebrate 2020. Goodbye, right, Todd Paulson?
Yes.
And despite the weather conditions, I think we're going to greet 2021 with a great deal of celebration.
Yeah,
love it.
We are. I just need one question answered, Raphael, before we go into the new year.
Yeah.
Are all those jackets you've been wearing today and you wear to all your different events you do in a separate closet, or are they like lined up next to your suits? Because you're going to need a big closet with all those suit coats you got.
So they're part of Man Cave 2.0 here in Johnson County. How about that?
All right, good answer, good answer. You need all the jackets you can find here this morning as you walk out the door. We're sitting in the 20s with below freezing temperatures anywhere you go. Radar, thankfully, is quiet here this morning, but the damage was done yesterday. 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain across the area. Then we had a little bit of snow on the backside of it. And with temperatures below freezing, none of that has melted. In fact, it's turned into ice, and that's why we have some slick spots out there this morning. But today's going to be a dry day. All this precipitation, whether it's rain or snow, stays to our south throughout this New Year's Eve. Tomorrow morning around this time as we enter New Year's Day, though, it's a completely different story. 25 in Indy right now, as well as Peru, 27 in Muncie. Throughout the morning hours, temperatures stay in the 20s. Eventually this afternoon, we climb up into the low 30s across the area, but definitely going to be a chilly day with not much in the way of sunshine. And then overnight tonight, a winter weather advisory will go into effect for almost all of the area. Doesn't include Bloomington, Nashville, Columbus, or Bedford. This is for freezing rain. I'll talk more about that in detail for you coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out the door here this morning. This is on the northwest side, monitoring a crash cleanup underway. This is at I-465 West 46th Street. It's blocking the right shoulder, as you can see there. Crews are on the scene and traffic is still moving along just fine in the left and center lanes. So just keep that in mind if you're traveling there on the northwest side around the 465 loop. But other than that, everything looks smooth sailing at this hour. Megan.
Lauren, with the continued spread of COVID-19, Governor Eric Holcomb is updating his COVID-19 orders.
Yeah, so he announced he'll be extending the statewide mask order for another 3 weeks. That's going to expire on January 24th. The restrictions on crowd sizes will also remain in place here. Now, one change, hospitals will be allowed to resume elective surgeries and procedures. You may remember the surgeries were postponed earlier this month as a way to help free up hospital capacity. So as we reach another holiday, the state health commissioner is asking people again to celebrate responsibly.
I'm sure many of us would like to put this year behind us. There are ways to ring in the new year without putting yourself or others at risk. Those include having a celebration with members of your immediate household, calling friends and families to count the new year together, or even planning a neighborhood countdown at midnight where people stand on the front of their homes or in the streets and cheer at midnight. The safest way to mark the end to 2020 is by staying home with your own family. And if we all do that, we will have a much brighter 2021.
The time now is 6:34, and as the countdown is on to the new year, a reminder about your New Year's Eve festivities tonight. You see, bars and restaurants in Marion County will be closing early. The county health department is ordering all establishments serving in-person food or drinks to close indoor dining and drinks service by midnight. Carry-out will still be allowed. They will be able to reopen at 5 a.m. on New Year's Day. And now let's take you to Hamilton County, where similar measures are being taken into effect into the city of Fishers. That city will limit public New Year's Eve celebrations as well. Indoor drinking and dining will be closed from 10 p.m. Through 5 a.m. all the way through January the 8th. Lauren?
Well, Raphael, a new year is almost here, and that means it's time for us to get in shape. Next, we'll have a live report on how some Hoosiers are getting a jump start on those 2021 goals. The time right now is 6:35 on your New Year's Eve. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Galleries, live life comfortably.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The new year, new me mentality is already, Megan, in full swing as we anticipate to say Happy New Year in just a matter of hours.
Oh yeah, counting down, Raphael. And our Kelsey Anderson is live this morning in Fishers. That's where a lot of people are already working on their New Year's fitness goals. Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So a lot of us, we do set those new goals each year as January 1st comes around. And for me, my fitness goal this year is to run a full marathon in April. And this year, especially because we're still in this pandemic, experts say it's really important that exercise and a healthy diet are at the top of our New Year's resolution list.
We're going to vaccinate, guys, in 3, 2, 1. Base pace.
At Orange Theory in Fishers, members are running, rowing, and lifting. Everyone there with the same goal, to live a healthier life.
But I knew I needed to find something to keep me moving because it's going to better my immune system and help my lungs work harder.
Danya Whitty has been an OTF member for 4 years. When she was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis as an adult, one of the things her doctor prescribed was exercise.
I am healthier now than I have ever been in my life.
Because of her diagnosis, when the pandemic hit the United States, Whitty had to be more careful than she was before.
In the beginning, it was really scary because nobody really knew what was going on, didn't know who it was affecting more. There was too many unknowns, so I pretty much, even before quarantine started, I just stayed in my house. As a person with cystic fibrosis, I'm more careful than your average person.
She froze her membership until she felt it was safe for her to come back.
This place was already safe and very clean before COVID even started. Again, I had to be aware of those things prior to COVID. So now coming in here, they are going over and above anything that I know most gyms are even doing.
We are cleaning, deep cleaning in between every single class. We leave 20 minutes so that we can clean, it can dry, and the next group comes in and is safe. In between our rotations, members are wiping down, and our wipes are antiviral, so that actually does help to kill the COVID molecules as well.
Katie Wachtel is the regional fitness director, and besides the extra cleaning in between classes, she says they use a fogger with EPA-approved cleaning products, maintain social distancing, require members to wear masks during transitions, and they do temperature checks before each class. Hopeful that soon they can get back to normal.
We have found a lot of people that are back are very confident with our protocols. We're not seeing transmissions in studio.
She tells me they are going one step further and working on policies to show lawmakers that gyms are safe and they're good for your immune system.
We are advocating that gyms are allowed to stay open. We're trying to provide data that is just not happening here. You're actually building your white blood cells in your body, and it actually helps you to fight the COVID disease. So we want people to be back in here and working out. We know that it's safe, and yes, we will hold the line on being very vigilant about our cleaning and about our social distancing and all of those things until the world is back to normal.
As for Whitty, she says she felt the effects of taking 6 months off the gym.
I noticed it huge in my lungs. I was coughing a lot more. There was a lot more stuff trying to get out that wasn't getting out. And I definitely noticed that my mental well-being was kind of taking a dip. So, yeah, I definitely noticed it. And things kind of relocated a little bit where I didn't want them to.
So Whitty says while this is good for her body physically and for her immune system, she believes that the mental benefits outweigh all of the physical. She says having that hour to herself just to do her own workout and ignore what's going on in life is something she says she won't take for granted. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
All right, thank you, Kelsey, for the great advice. 6:42. I want to look ahead here quickly before we talk about today's forecast. Today's going to be pretty quiet, but tomorrow, as we get into New Year's Day, where you're going to be dealing with the potential for freezing rain throughout the morning hours with slick conditions. Rain then transitions to all rain, but flooding will become an option, and it's breezy as well. Winter weather advisories kick in tomorrow morning. We'll break it all down for you coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Let's go places.
They're not gonna stop us now.
Who's next?
Ozone!
Did you hear me? You must leave now. Look, I'm not understand.
He became well known while dancing for the legendary group The Lockers on the Soul Train, the hit TV show back in the 1970s, The Soul Train. But Adolfo Quiñones became a legend when he helped bring breakdancing to the public in the early 1980s. The dancer, best known as Shabba-Doo, was the star and choreographer for the movies Breakin' and Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. Remember those movies well. He also put together dance sequences for artists like Madonna and Lionel Richie. His family says that Adolfo died in Los Angeles on Wednesday. A cause of death has not been given. He was 65 years old.
Well, it is 6:45. Small businesses here have been struggling all year long because of the pandemic. But some business owners, Megan, are hoping that lawmakers will help them out this year when the General Assembly goes back to work next week.
That's right. More than 900 business owners from across the state have signed a petition calling for an expansion of video gambling. The business owners want gambling terminals to be allowed inside bars and restaurants. Supporters of the idea say since sports betting on phones and mobile devices is now legal in Indiana, allowing people to gamble in other ways would mean more money for businesses, plus more tax revenue for local governments.
This really is going to help the small kind of mom and pop bars, the ones that have really been hit hard by the pandemic. Our estimates are, give or take, about $100,000 per establishment per year.
The revenue from video gambling would be split 3 ways between the bar owner, the company that owns the machines, and local municipalities. A lawmaker from Northeast Indiana is sponsoring the video gaming bill after the legislature begins its new session next Monday. Time now is 6:46. Taking a look at the weather for this New Year's Eve. Todd, how are we looking?
You know, it's pretty quiet for New Year's Eve. Any plans that you have throughout the day today, you really just need to bundle up. This morning, there's some icy spots out there, but the damage is done from yesterday. It's just refreezing that took place overnight, so the slick spots are ice on the ground. No additional precipitation throughout the day today, but it's cold. We're in the 20s anywhere you go. 25 Greencastle, Martinsville, Indy. 22 is the current temperature over in the Richmond area. Factor in a little bit of a breeze, and it feels like it's in the teens in most locations. And the problem today is the wind remains out of the northwest. The clouds remain in place, and that's going to prevent the temperatures from warming much at all here throughout the day today. In fact, we hold pretty steady where we are right now through 11 a.m. Then we'll go up into the 30s here by 1 p.m. with maybe a few peaks of sunshine here this afternoon, but not expecting a whole lot in the way of sunshine today. And highs only probably in the city get to about 33 degrees for your afternoon temperatures. Here are the clouds that are in place. They're not really going to budge much at all. The rain from yesterday is through. This is our storm system across Texas. That's going to start to lift to the north, and it has a lot of moisture with it. We're looking at another ½ inch to an inch of rainfall during the day tomorrow. Wishing you all a happy new year as we go into 2021. We'll do it quietly with just mostly cloudy skies at midnight, but then things will start to change. Overnight tonight, temperatures dip down into the 20s. Cold enough for snow, right? Unfortunately, the storm system is bringing some warmer temperatures with it. That warmer air first in the middle layers of the atmosphere. The colder air is more dense, and so it's going to get trapped here in the ground level, and the surface temperatures will be below freezing. That's a classic setup for freezing rain. Let's time it out for you. I think the precipitation starts to come in anytime after 5 o'clock in the morning. Here we are at 8 a.m. The pink represents the freezing rain. For those of you in Bloomington, Seymour, Greensburg, you should transition pretty quickly over to just plain old rain, but it will be heavy at times throughout the morning hours, and flooding definitely, I think, a concern tomorrow here in southern locations, maybe even a rumble of thunder. But even into the noon hour, it still is probably freezing rain in northern locations until we can finally get the temperatures warm enough to support just all rain across the area. So you definitely have to be very, very cautious in northern locales during the morning hours tomorrow. And the showers will even continue all the way into the evening. The potential for ice is greatest to the north, where we could see about a ½ inch. That's enough ice that we could have some small branches come down. Probably not quite enough for power lines to come down, but you notice a couple tenths of, or hundredths rather, of an inch here in the metro area. That's not enough to cause damage to power lines, trees, and such, but it is enough to slicken up the roadways. So just be very, very cautious as you walk out the door tomorrow. Maybe just give it some time. Don't get on the roadways if you don't have to until we can get the temperatures above freezing, which should be by about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. But tomorrow's definitely a wet day. Have the umbrella handy and be on the lookout again for the potential of some flooding here and there. Going forward, there's a little bit of a wintry mix possible on Sunday morning, not a big deal. But then after that, it's pretty quiet with temperatures that'll be in the 40s.
Buckle up, everybody. It's time to climb into our time machine for Throwback Thursday. As the calendar turns to 2021, we want to briefly jump back to the New Year's resolutions of yesteryear.
That's right, Lauren. In 1979 was not 2020, but the last blast of the 70s was a rough year for some Hoosiers. A nationwide gasoline crisis and a teacher strike in Indianapolis had lots of people running on fumes by the end of the year, Raphael.
And ladies, I want you to feel good. 1979, I think I was in second grade. We'll leave that alone. But as the clock approached midnight on New Year's Eve that year, there were also so many reasons to be hopeful. One of them was the Pope, as John Paul II had visited Indianapolis during his tour of the United States in 1979. From the Holy Father to the man who came to be known as the father of what Indianapolis would become, Mayor Bill Hudnut had been reelected to a second term. And one of the guiding lights of WRTV that year and for many years to come, the legendary Derek Thomas went in search of resolutions for the new year and the new decade.
My New Year's resolution would be try to keep the center safe from crime and everything, from make it a better place to shop for the people here in town.
Quitting smoking.
To make an A in chemistry.
Mine is going to be just to try to be the best person I can be and serve the Lord.
I'm just going to try to spread as much health and happiness to people as I can.
Happy New Year. Derek Thomas for the news, Channel 6.
The strains of Guy Lombardo closing out 1979 as we take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne once more on this Throwback Thursday. And right now we take a live look at Times Square in New York City as we all just await the dropping of the ball to mark 2021. We are hopeful that the new year will be much kinder around the world. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. It is 6:55 on Good Morning Indiana. Todd's New Year's Eve and New Year outlook is next. But first, Megan, let's go to your headlines.
Yeah, Lauren, a man is dead following a shooting on the city's north side. It happened around 1 this morning near East 39th Street and Baltimore Avenue, just east of the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Metro Police say the shooting victim died at the scene. His identity has not been released yet. Raphael?
No charges, Megan, will be filed after thousands of fetal remains were found in the garage and vehicle of a former doctor in northern Indiana. Late last year, more than 2,000 sets of remains were found in Dr. Ulrich Koffler's office in suburban Chicago. The remains were found from abortions the late doctor performed in Indiana in the years 2000 through 2003. Attorney General Curtis Hill says that Koffler can't be charged since the remains were found after he died.
And the Bureau of Prisons has started vaccinating workers and inmates at the Federal Corrections Complex out in Terre Haute. So far, nearly half of the workers, as well as some high-risk inmates in Terre Haute, have received the vaccine. Federal records show the complex in Terre Haute has had more coronavirus cases than any other federal prison in the country.
Looking at sports, the Ball State Cardinals will have some time in the National College Football Spotlight today. Ball State is still celebrating its first MAC championships in 24 years. They will take on the unbeaten champions of the Mountain West Conference in San Jose State in the Arizona Bowl. Kickoff is at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
All right.
Good luck.
Good luck to Ball State.
Good luck to those
and good luck to IU as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what can we expect? Are we getting lucky in terms of our forecast for the New Year's Eve party, Todd?
For the New Year's Eve parties, you're just fine. You just need to bundle up. No precipitation heading our way throughout the day today. It's just chilly 33 with mostly cloudy skies. Now, tomorrow morning is going to be fairly difficult for some of you. We're going to have freezing rain tomorrow morning between about 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. and then we should transition over to just plain old rain. The rain could be heavy at times, especially through the first half of the day. And then after that, pretty quiet stretch of weather for the first full week of 2021.
Thanks, Todd. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with the latest news, weather, and traffic updates, of course, Lauren.
And we are patiently awaiting the end of 2020, as you can see by the ball here out in New York City. Places like New Zealand already ringing in 2021. Have a